everyone. Today is Wednesday, currently 7 p.m. Usually recording a video earlier than this, but I was on about my day, so I'm gonna be posting a breakdown pretty much in the next hour on a US30 trade that I took this morning, and then I'm also gonna go ahead and break down gold. As far as GJ, I'm not gonna break down GJ only because, according to my analysis at the beginning of the week, I was anticipating a buy based off of like this support level that was created here or even down here as well. But price pretty much broke through this zone and hasn't given me really a solid level of a higher low in this area that I was expecting. Now, of course, price can form a 61.8% higher low based off of the 1 hour resistance that we had broken down here in this area. So buys can still play out in here, but I was expecting it up here above 38.2%, and it pretty much didn't happen. So we'll just go ahead and start with the breakdown on US30 and go from there, man. But hopefully you guys learned something from this breakdown and you guys can apply it to your analysis tonight or next week or whatever it is. So yeah, man, let's go ahead and hop right into it. So we see here, based off of our weekly time frame, we are still bullish. We had resistance form here, price came up, formed like a higher high based off the weekly, came down, higher low, higher high, and then overall price did come down and respected overall structure down here, which is our main level of support based off the weekly time frame. So once price respected this weekly level of support, we had a bullish push up, and price pretty much found resistance along our all-time high at 45,000. And based off our 4 hour time frame, we formed a level of a higher low. So based off of 4 hour time frame, we know we're bullish on the daily and the weekly. 4 hour time frame found a level of a higher low, followed by respecting 45,000, came back down, still respecting overall structure, even though we may have had a minor break of support in here, and that same level got tested as resistance. At that point, you could execute sells, but still have in mind that we're bullish on the overall time frame as long as we maintain above 43.800. So after that, we had a higher low, price came up to the high, that higher low maintained, formed a low, formed another low, and then we're kind of like in this minor range. Now the reason I executed buys is because we tested into a level of 4 hour support right in here above our main levels of support. Then when price touched in here, 4 hour time frame exhausted from 6 to 10 a.m. And then for the new 4 hour candle that formed at 10 a.m., once price formed a bottom wick and began to push up, then at that point I was anticipating buys to overall flow with this support level. Every time we touch into it, we reject, and it flows also with overall structure. So I executed sales in yesterday's session, and those sales played out into support. But the thing about this trade was that when it hit this 4 hour support zone, it reacted quickly within that same candle and exhausted and just left me pretty much I just wasn't interested in the trade after that point in time. So when I executed buys here, it was pretty much based off of the same analysis as yesterday. My bias was just switched. So when we played into the support, I was on the 30-minute time frame. So what I was also looking at in here was our 30-minute time frame formed support right in here, and then after it formed support, we found a level of resistance, and then we came and tested that level of support again that was created here, pretty much forming like a double bottom. Price broke above that level of resistance, still testing 4 hour resistance here. Price played back down, and I did try and execute sales just based off of the momentum that we had from the 4 hour resistance, anticipating we would break like 44,300 and then get to like 44,200 and potentially lower. But once price exhausted here, after 10:30, this was a 30-minute candle close, I was pretty much executing entries on the 5-minute time frame. So 5-minute time frame gave us an engulfing then we had a small indecision, and then we began to push up into this little minor level of resistance. So price pretty much respecting this level of support, based off this area to the left and this level of support here where this double bottom formed. I mean, you can call it however it makes sense. I mean, you have a triple bottom. You had a third touch to this level of support. So support formed here, got tested here, bearish, bullish, bearish, bullish. Didn't have a bearish, bearish close. You had price push through here. You did have a like bearish, bearish candle, but you got to also keep in mind you have all this here that gets respected. So price pushing bearish, bearish at that point, maybe you can think sales are going to play out, but as soon as we had an engulfing candle on the 5-minute time frame, you got a bearish signal that we were going to respect this level of support and push up into these levels of resistance and potentially further. And based off my entry point, I did catch nearly 200 points, and pretty much, yeah, like right in here. As price began to exhaust and show a little indecision, I had honestly got out the trade, so I closed, I think, like anywhere with like 150 points, 150 pips, however you like to call it. 160, 170. Let me actually, just to be transparent with you guys, so I had entries based off my trade locker. It was 44,389.46. So pretty much where these levels I have, so okay, so 44,380, no, yeah, 389.4. So this was my second entry, and then my first entry was 834883. Yeah, right in there. So these are my entries, and I exited at 44,561 and 44,559. Yeah, so right in here for about 170 pips is what I closed at, based off this trade. I was in and out within like an hour and a half, which is a really good trade. Just because I really don't trade New York session, and I really don't trade a little after that, around the hours of like 9 to, I don't know, 11, 12 p.m. the latest. So just based off of my US30 trades as of recently, I am on a win streak, approaching. I am on a win streak when I'm executing on US30 later than like 9 a.m. I haven't really been up to trade around 6 a.m. I have woke up a few times, but just didn't find a good setup at that time, so I go back to sleep. But recently, waking up to trade US30 after 9 a.m., it has been successful. So I'm going to continue to try and analyze US30 and execute off this pair. I know there are a lot of people that watch my videos that trade indices. So just based off of that, hopefully I could find better setups for US30, with a good risk management, a good R to R, and hopefully you guys can apply that to your analysis as well. So hopefully overall, after that quick rant, you guys understand how I executed off of US30, or for the most part understand where I executed and why I executed. As I was saying, so pretty much based off of my analysis that I've given you guys so far, hopefully you guys understand why I executed on US30 in the zone that it was in, why it made sense to go down your smaller time frames to see support form before executing and waiting for that buy signal. So that's going to be my analysis for US30. As far as going into tomorrow's session, for New York, what I'm pretty much going to be looking for is the same thing. If price can pretty much respect our level of 4-hour support, and give us confirmation that the sellers are no longer in the market by showing us maybe sellers exhaustion, or we're getting more bullish engulfing closes, then that's going to make more sense for us to look for buys. But that doesn't mean that price can't sell off and pretty much test these lower levels of support at like 44,000. So that's just something that I'm going to have to pay attention to going into New York session, since we are respecting this 4-hour resistance. But as long as price maintains above 44,300, then we could definitely see buy opportunities back to the upside, and hopefully to target our overall highs at like 44,800 to 45,000. So let's go from US30 to gold. So gold, what we're looking at, we are overall still bullish on all your time frames. I'm gonna just pretty much jump right into it based off our 4-hour though. 4-hour time frame, we see here that we formed an all-time high just below 2950. After that, we formed a higher low along a previous level of resistance that was broken, which is more visible on your 1-hour time frame. But these are 4-hour seller exhaustion wicks, where price pretty much peaked at and then pulled back. So price forms support along those levels, followed by testing our high at 2940. Then it continued back down to our level of support that was created, which is that 4-hour higher low, tested and held 2890 as support. And then we found our bullish transition area where price broke a 4-hour level of resistance and nearly found support on that same level. So currently we are bullish as price broke that level of resistance, minor level of resistance based off your 4-hour and 1-hour time frame. Price then rallied all the way back up to our high, respected, found a level of support during London session. Well, late London session, going into 6 a.m., 10 a.m. Yeah, 14. So this is all today. Yeah, so price pretty much found resistance in this area. Now I did also take buy opportunities on gold, and that was going to be right here when price found this initial level of support prior to rejecting this resistance and getting a deeper pullback. So let's go from our 4-hour into our 30-minute. We see here that price respected this 30-minute level of support. So we have our initial point here, 1, tested, respected, and then 3, you also have it do the same thing here. So while price was in this area, you see price try and reach down and target a new lower low. Price was also respecting these wicks to the left. So overall support was just holding in this area. You had price give you a bullish confirmation that this area could potentially hold as support at around 9 o'clock after this 8:30 candle close based off your 30-minute. So once price found and tested support, we could go down to our smaller time frames to see if we see a bullish transition to catch that buy opportunity to get to the upside. So from our 30-minute to our 5-minute time frame, this main area where price found resistance, we broke above, boom, found a level of resistance here, new level of resistance, but still testing this level to the left. You then had a 5-minute engulfing right in here. Now when I had executed this trade, I did have an early entry. Let me see, I had it on 293589, 293589. Now I did have earlier entries. No, that was on the other account because I had took a loss prior to getting this dub on this account. But okay, so 293532. 294267. Okay, so on one account I had entries right in here, had my stop loss right below this level that we had broke above, and I was gonna anticipate a push through to target these highs. That was one entry I had. And then on my other account, I know I'm not mistaken, I know I caught a good trade on, okay, was this one, had to be 29,349. Okay, so on this account, 29.32. Okay, so I did have earlier entries, but I exited as we got this pullback from that 4 hour level of resistance, and it just made me, um, I just wasn't really interested in being in the trade, and it made me feel a little off. So I closed with no hesitation, closing maybe with like $100, $50, $92. So I had attempted the trade initially, and it didn't work until I got entries on this other account at 29.3504. So pretty much this same area. And then for that one, I TP'd at 29.4387. So literally right in this TP area was my TP zone for about 78 pips. But I was satisfied with that trade, and I'm glad I closed, because what did price do after? Price broke the 4 hour resistance high, found a new level of resistance at 29.46.70, and then retraced all the way back down, sweeping out this 30-minute level of support that we formed in Asian around 6 p.m. And then it found resistance. And then let's go ahead and break this down on how we could have entered. Okay, so we have support created here for that first initial push down. Price then formed a lower high, minor lower high in here. But what do we have? We have price form a level of a higher low along this initial level of support. This blue zone is based off our 30-minute time frame. So we had this bullish push up. Now anyone who is confident in gold and the way they trade it, they could have definitely took this position around 11 a.m., which would have been a late New York trade with a 37 pip stop, and you could have had a TP for 90 pips at that first level of resistance. Within this overall 4 hour level of resistance, which would be your median level here at 29.36. Quick in and out trade, you would have literally been in and out maybe within an hour and a half tops. So quick trade, 1 to 2.4 R to R, which is beautiful. So that would have been your New York trade if you were looking for buy opportunities on gold at that point in time. Now going into today's session, which is most important, what we're looking at for gold now. Let me go ahead and delete all these little drawings. Okay, so one thing I'm paying attention to is price found resistance within these candles. Excuse me. The reason for that is based off our 4 hour time frame. We got a bearish bullish candle, or it was a bullish bearish candle. Sorry about that. Bullish bearish candle formed resistance within 8 hours, and then that following candle from 10 to 2 a.m. price attempted to break above, and then 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. price closed back below, holding this level of resistance within our overall exhaustion zone based off of our 4 hour time frame, or resistance, however you want to call it. Price engulfed down. Now when it engulfed down, it tested this low right in here, found 4 hour support along this level, and now we're currently pushing up. But one thing to pay attention to is our 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. candle. Price closed bullish, but with a lot of exhaustion in this area. Now this current 4 hour candle that's going to close at 10 p.m. Should tell us one or two things: whether price is going to exhaust and show that this level is going to hold as resistance, or we're going to get a strong bullish close and maybe begin to drive above 29.47.2, and that'll be your break of the high and potentially to form a new all-time high above that. Or price is going to break support at this level here, and we can potentially see a push through and down to maybe target these levels of support. So one or two things can happen. I'm not really looking to trade at this given minute. I'm gonna wait till 10 p.m. to see how this 4 hour closes and see if it gives us more of a clue of the direction it wants to go for the remainder of the session, going into the week close. So hopefully that made sense. hopefully you guys learned something from this breakdown on the gold trade I entered, the US30 trade I entered, and then now to finish off the video, what I'm looking for going into the end of the week, because it is currently Wednesday, tomorrow is Thursday. So let's see how this week closes, man. Hopefully you guys are having a good trading week. But if you watched to this point of the video, I appreciate you for taking the time to listen to the value that I'm giving you. So thank you, man. Have a blessed day, and let's kill it this week. Peace.